This is the next generation language access, and basically this program is made for the bilingual and multilingual students at DPS. And what we do really, they would receive a very high quality of interpreting services. I mean, they're gonna learn how to become certified interpreters. Most of these students, they are bilingual, as I said, multilingual, and they are already helping their family members when they go to the hospitals, when they have any other needs, in the community. But right now they are becoming professional in doing so, and they can make money, they can start their own business. I think our goal as educators and as a district is to really use the assets that we have in our hands, and right now it's our ELL students with the multiple languages and cultures that they can, just contribute to the community.
I took the same program training before them. So this program have many benefits. So among them, we can tell they can work as contract interpreters for any agency, and that they can also work for DPS. Because there are few interpreters out there on the field, and our students speak many languages, they know the culture, they have been with DPS, so they can help us in the community as outreach person for the district. I am called to many schools, and I cannot do it by myself. Basically, I was pushing this to have students to do the things I do, so they can be able, we're going to rely on them in the coming days and coming months. I just want to tell how wonderful, how excited I am, because I worked as an interpreter in the community. I know the need.
We are now the innovative academies of the Dayton Public Schools are in phase 3 of the Ford Next Generation Learning Academy program. And what that means is we are actually meeting with 8 tactic teams that are writing the master plan. And so that was so important and so valuable that we now can take it back and actually implement it to make sure our students are prepared for college and careers and can really support this workforce.
We are equipping our students with the necessary tools that they need to be successful. It's not just about the data that goes on in high school. We're talking about reaching our kids outside of 4 walls to obtain a career for themselves later down the road, okay?
I feel like it was really good to be in this room. I got to meet people that I ain't never been in a room with before, different principals, people behind the scenes that I don't even know about, and really get to see what goes on outside of just what I see inside my classroom.
I think overall it was good to collaborate, bring us all together. We got industry partners here. You have teachers, you have directors, our chiefs, principals are all coming together, and we're all sharing our different experiences and expertise along with our students, giving our students a voice to be able to share and speak on their experiences and the things that they want, because it's not just about what we see, but also want to see it through their lens as well, because sometimes we get so far disconnected, from being a student. And I think that's huge, to have all parties all on deck to collaborate. So this was awesome.
Well, I first would like to thank the hundreds, literally hundreds of partners that have come now to over 10 meetings with us to put all of this together. And from the bottom of our hearts, we thank them. For any community partners that haven't been engaged, we would like you contact us. We have job shadowing, mentorships, internships, all types of things that they can provide. All of that helps. But the biggest thing is, when you hear about the innovative academies of the Dayton Public Schools, be sure to spread the good news that there's plenty of about what it means to support a district that's on the move and making transformations that not only helps our kids, it's helping the entire region.
I'm a part of Shared Governance, and we are talking about a steering committee. We're talking about how to put people into successful roles and how we can all communicate through different teams so that we're all on the same page for the actual goal. It feels good. It feels really, really good, honestly. And it only feels good because at the beginning I was confused, didn't know why I was here, just know my life coach brought me. Now it's like, I know exactly why I'm here. I know what we want the end goal to be, and I'm really happy to see that what I'm saying, in my opinion, my comments are building into that final presentation. I'm really excited to see how it'll all come out, honestly. Like, being here in the process is totally different than seeing the final outcome and not knowing the conversations we had, the different meetings, any of that. So I'm really excited to see how the work will actually come out and turn out.
My group is working on establishing a framework for partners. Work on how do we create a database of all of the partners at all the schools in the district so we can create some standard operating procedures on how partners interact with the district and with various schools, who are the contact points at those partners, what areas or what buckets do they interact with. Is it an attendance situation? Is it an academic situation? Is it college and career readiness? The way we're approaching it at Ruskin, the way we're approaching the Innovative Academies of Dayton Public Schools work is through two paths. We have an experiential path. We are getting kids out into the world, and we are bringing experts into Ruskin to try to raise kids' awareness of what is out in the world, what careers are out there when they graduate and when they're adults. The other path is the academic path. It's one thing to try to create a high school classes that will help kids once they graduate. It's another thing to be able to prepare kids for those classes. That starts with us. That starts with us making sure that our academic program at the elementary level is tight, that we are making sure that kids are meeting benchmarks and are able to work at grade level so they are successful in middle school and in high school.
Good morning, DPS. Good morning. I can't hear you. Good morning, DPS. Good morning. Welcome to this year's annual Team Vote March. Y'all look so good here today. Give yourself a round of applause. You're here to cast your ballot for the first time. I see the bands got new outfits on. I see International is making their debut, their Dayton debut for the first time. Man, y'all showing up and showing out with pride. That's what it's all about. I want you to know that today, the fact that you are fired up, ready to go and vote is powerful. Your ballot is your access point to democracy, and voting is the entryway to power. I want you to know that today is a moment that you'll never forget. Today is all about you. At this moment, you are making an affirmative decision to take a stance in your way of life. You're going to make decisions that are going to impact your neighborhoods, your schools, your community, and ultimately your way of life. Regardless of how you vote, I want you to vote your community. I want you to vote your neighborhoods. I want you to vote your values. Those are things that make you who you are. If you vote for people and issues that reflect those, you will never go wrong. I want you also to remember that there's an election at least every 6 months. That means that the energy that brought you here has to keep you in the same moment even after you cast your ballot. In this election, and the one that follows, and the one that follows, and the one that follows. That energy is what is going to make you become or assist and impact in the very change that you want to see in your community.
Call to order, Dayton Public School Board meeting. Roll call.
President Bailey,
Here.
Dr. Goodwin,
Present.
Mr. Lacey,
Here.
Mr. Smith,
Present.
Ms. Reinhardt,
Present.
Mr. Walker,
Present.
Ms. Garrison,
Ms. Garrison will be a little late.
okay, Ms. Woods,
Present.
7 present.
I'm gonna have to wait because it's so tight up here. We can get a new desk.
Our mission is to inspire, educate, and empower. Our vision is to inspire, educate, and empower scholars for a lasting impact, and our purpose is to cultivate a supportive and engaging educational experience.
All right.
Cops.
Special presentation from Montgomery County ESC.
Right, thank you for having me this evening. And Leslie, are you going to click for me? Are you clicking for me? Perfect, okay. So, thank you for having me this evening. And if you want to go ahead and go to the next slide. I am Shannon Cox. I'm the superintendent of the Montgomery County Educational Service Center. I should say of your Montgomery County Educational Service Center. And tonight, I would like to do a quick presentation to make sure that we are all in compliance of a couple of mandates. Every year, we are required to give an annual update to all of the boards of education who belong to districts that are involved in our Montgomery County ESC Business Advisory Council. So this dinner is held annually, and unfortunately, you were not able to attend for prior commitments, and so I'm here tonight to make sure we are not only compliant, but we are well informed. So please feel free to stop me if you have any questions. I'll also take some questions at the end as well. If you go back real quick, I just want to make sure, since he's not here tonight, that you are aware that we have a new workforce director, Mr. Tom Jenkins. Tom actually did some STEM work for us through the Dayton Regional STEM Center back when Dr. Lawrence and I did some work at Thurgood Marshall back in the day. So Tom is actually back home at the ESC, and he has a wealth of knowledge when it comes to this type of work for students. So we welcome him. You can go ahead and... All right, so you should have a folder in front of you. I just want to make sure you know exactly what you have, because one of the documents we will actually be going over. There is a copy of the Learn to Earn annual report. That information ties into the work that we do overall at the Business Advisory Council. You also have a copy of the State of the Schools. It's the Dayton Business Journal's edition of State of the Schools, and every year the Montgomery County ESC as well as Learn to Earn Dayton are sponsors of that, so you'll get lots of great information in there. But the thing that we absolutely will be reviewing is this document. It's the 25-26 Joint Statement of Work, and that is required by law to be on your website. And so I believe that yours is up to date already. And then this is due every year in March. And so we try to have that dinner as late in February as possible. The last thing that you'll see, and we'll just touch on this very, very briefly, but you can peruse this in your free time, is a U-Science quarterly report that we publish based on all of the U-Science results we have in the Business Advisory Council. Okay. All right, you may or may not know, but there are 2 unfunded state mandates that we are adhering to that this presentation is about. The first one we'll go over is the Career Connections. Several years ago, the State Department and General Assembly agreed to put out a Career Connections mandate, and that just simply states that there should be career connections, kindergarten through 12th grade, that are aligned and embedded into the everyday curriculum. And the State Department of Education at the time, ODE, now DEW, Department of Education and Workforce, tried to put out model curricula that gave examples of what work-based learning or career connections could look like. My favorite example is probably the non-example. In 5th grade, there was a math lesson, and it said, in this lesson, use paper clips, because people who work in offices use paper clips. And while I believe they were really trying to do a good job, I just thought, you know what, we could all do better. And so we set out on a journey to make certain that all of our students, again, kindergarten through 12th grade, and beyond, had the career connections and the opportunities beyond the schoolhouse doors when they graduate from high school, really what their opportunities were. And that meant we had to do several things. So this work started before the next mandate, which is the Business Advisory Council mandate, came out. Now, I just want to be super clear that there's a difference between a Business Advisory Council mandate and the business advisory committees that you're probably used to hearing here at Dayton Public Schools, because any capital C CTE Perkins-funded program requires the use of business advisory committees. And you have had those for years. But every school district in the state of Ohio has to be part of a business advisory council, different. And you could do that on your own. You can do it through a consortium run by an ESC or a JVSD. Dayton Public Schools has been a proud member of our Business Advisory Council at Montgomery County since the mandate came out. And I would like to say that for the 4th year in a row, we have been awarded a 4-star out of 4-star designation. This is the highest award that any Business Advisory Council can get. And we believe that we are able to excel in those 3 badges. There were only 4 Business Advisory Councils that got 4 stars and got all 3 credentials. So technically, we are one of the leading, most awarded Business Advisory Councils in the state. But we believe that we get the 4 stars and that we are able to get those 3 designations because of those 5 things around the stars. We work with industry groups like DRMA, like Tech First, like SOCI, to make certain that we are working with as many industry partners as possible. We also very much elevate student voice, and we will give you an example of that later on in the presentation. We actually do this work kindergarten through 12th grade. A lot of business advisory councils only do the work in junior high through high school because that really is where it quote unquote fits, but we think we need to start early. We utilize tools like UScience, again, you have that report in front of you, and we believe in sharing regional data and using that data to inform the work that gets done. One other thing that I think you just need to be aware of, we also are a partner with what they are now calling the Career Pathway Support Network grant. Sinclair Community College has held this grant in its former name, Tech Prep, and they've had it for years. We agreed to go ahead and let them be our lead applicant again this year, and we were awarded the West Region grant, and you'll see those are the counties that basically align to the Jobs Ohio region in the west area of the state. Their work is largely folded into the work that we do as a Business Advisory Council. So instead of competing for resources, we are now leveraging resources. Leslie, you can go ahead. All right, this should not be any new data point to any of you because we've talked about this for decades now. But we have had a big goal set out by Learn to Earn Dayton first, and then we followed along when we became a talent hub designated by the Brookings Institute several years ago, that 60% of our working age population should be able to have an industry recognized post-secondary credential. That could be an actual credential, a 15-month credential, a trade, a military insignia, or a 2 or 4 year degree. All right, as we, again, briefly go through this joint statement of work, you can go ahead and go to the next slide. We basically set this up so that there are 5 subgroups, and again, those subgroups you can follow along in the booklet that you have in front of you. And we'll just start with the first one and give you just the highlights of accomplishments. So the first one is the educator engagement. At the dinner, we went over each of these pretty much in a much greater detail, and we also had a little side presentation for each of these. The big accomplishments here, you can see in the sort of under the star, and we like to thank Tommy Renfro and Nicole Will for being our co-chairs, but you can see also in your document, each of the subcommittees has strategies as well as who's responsible, and then you can see those key outcomes and metrics on each page if you flip through that. I'm going to go ahead and have you go to the next one. All right, so this slide basically depicts that we have had over 90 career champions and counselors from many, many school districts. Dayton Public Schools always is a prime participant in this. And they go to they go to 3 site visits a year to make sure that they can really see boots on the ground, what are entry-level positions for their students, all the way up to what could be a terminal career progression in that particular sector, as well as that particular industry or employer. We like to make certain that students here in Montgomery County realize that there are viable jobs for them straight out of high school that either help them get to a credential, or if they already have a credential, which very much aligns to your Ford NGL work that you debuted just a few weeks ago. These are some of the employers that have hosted that group throughout this past year. Go to the next one. Our second one is policy and advocacy. Those co-chairs are Stephanie Kyneth from the Chamber, Rick Wegman from Miami Valley Easter Seals, and Dr. Tom Lasley. We do have a 3-pronged policy focus, and we'll show you just a highlight from that in just a second. But we also attend the Pathways to Prosperity Conference. We are a member of the National Network Jobs for the Future Pathways to Prosperity, where we have not only learned from others across the nation, bringing back some of those best practices to implement in the Business Advisory Council, but we have also then been asked to present our work. And those just show you the states that are involved. You can go to the next slide. And these are the highlights of the policy agenda. If anybody has questions, we actually have a 3-pager. I'd be happy to send that to you. I think Dr. Lawrence has a copy of it, but if you need a refreshed copy, I'm happy to send it to you. The next one is industry engagement. It is co-led by Cassie Barlow and Amanda Byers. Amanda is also out of the Chamber. Cassie obviously is the executive director of SOCHI. You can go ahead. All right, and you can see at the bottom here, again, we work with those trade organizations to make sure that we're really leveraging all of the employers across the region to make sure that young people really do understand what viable job opportunities there are that are in demand here in our region. Again, it's really hard to maintain. We have over 600 manufacturers just in Montgomery County, and so it's really hard to maintain relationships with all of those, but DRMA already does that work, and so we leverage the power of those trade organizations. We also have our parent and community engagement work. That is led by Marita Abrams. Dr. Abram is over at Sinclair, as well as Lisa Rendler, and you can go ahead and go to the next one. We incorporate through this one, we really try to incorporate student voice. We have our Montgomery County Educational Service Center Student Advisory Delegation. Unfortunately, that was really bad terminology on my part because it's named McSAD, but none of those students are sad at all. And we really, really appreciate the fact that Dayton Public Schools has representatives from all of their high schools. We have juniors and seniors from every high school in Montgomery County, with the exception of Vandalia Butler this year. And we really put this Business Advisory Council work in front of them and let them lift their voice and build agency around that. We also support through student engagement. The Business Advisory Council supports any type of student engagement days or experiences that any and all of our school districts put on the calendar. So there are just a couple of examples of those at the bottom there, and you can go to the next slide. Student engagement is one of our last committees that we'll review. It is co-chaired by Stephanie Hines and Aubrey Dancic. I always have to stop because I always get her name wrong. Both of which who have just been really, really great advocates for making certain that, again, students don't just hear about it, see a video, but they actually are actively engaged in the career-connected learning opportunities. A couple of those, just to highlight, we make certain that when you take a look at these youth science reports, we make certain that when we get an invitation to Craze Days at Sinclair or the She Build or She Dig event, we take a look at the youth science results, matching students and very intentionally inviting them to be exposed to experiences. For instance, if they have an aptitude for something but they don't have an interest, it is typically because they have never been exposed to it. So we have found great success in matching and making certain that kids who have interest but do not have, that have aptitudes but do not have interest get a personal invitation using the U Science reports. 96% of our partner school districts now administer this assessment to really make certain that they're being intentional about career-connected learning experiences, course offerings that they're putting in their high schools and junior highs, as well as inviting students to those career learning opportunities. We're also launching Defined Learning. This is a platform that will track graduation seals, it will track graduation requirements, as well as it has virtual opportunities, because we do have school districts like New Lebanon Local Schools, or we have students that do not have transportation. And so sometimes any learning experience, career-connected learning experience, is better than none. And so in order to get to those students that sometimes have biggest barriers, we provide those learning opportunities and those career-connected learning experiences through Defined Learning. So anyone within our Business Advisory Council also has access to this platform as well. Just a reminder that May is In-Demand Jobs Month. You'll get more information from DEW about that. You can go ahead and skip. Again, we support those school experiences. You saw the slide around Mad River. This is a slide about a career-connected learning opportunity that Miamisburg Local Schools did. But the last one that I'd like to show you, go ahead and see the next slide. Career Adventure Day, actually there's two. Career Adventure Days is something put on by the Dayton Metro Library. This year, your international school was able to participate, but Dayton Public Schools has participated every year that we have had Career Adventure Days with the Dayton Metro Library. And then also, go ahead and slip, that's a picture for you guys, but I didn't take this slide out because, like I said before, at the actual dinner for each of those subgroups, we actually had a presentation. This presentation we saved for last because it was actually the best. Carolyn Rice was there, Commissioner Rice was there, and she told the story about when she sat down for about an hour with Dr. Lawrence, and they talked about how the county and Dayton Public Schools could collaborate. And Carolyn said, you know, we're the third largest employer in the region, behind the two large hospital networks, Montgomery County, and they take young people and they take all ages, but they take folks into jobs and then build careers alongside of them. They have anything from vets as a terminal degree to prosecuting attorneys to engineers. So there really can be a whole career progression right here in Montgomery County for our residents in our community. And so Carolyn said, you know, how can we make certain that the students all over the county, but specifically here at Dayton Public Schools, understand what those jobs are and what that career really could look like for them. And so we actually had two of these particular career days in 2026, one in the spring, but by far we came back from last spring and we said, that worked so well, let's do it again. And Commissioner Rice said, I think we should also do it in the fall. So Erin Dooley has just been the best partner for this event. She was able to make sure that the students had the assessments, that the students were aware of their assessment results. She worked internally to make sure that all of the transportation pieces were taken care of. And I can't tell you, we've got picture after picture after picture, and there isn't one of them where there aren't students just absolutely engaged with smiles on their faces. And they're still talking about it, my understanding is. So Erin and Carolyn were able to give a quick presentation at the Business Advisory Council that kind of ended our night together. And as I'm sure you know, Ms. Dooley did a bang-up job, not only at planning the events, but also in representing you the night of the Business Advisory Council. And I think that brings us to a very rapid close, but I'm happy to, happy to take any questions that you might have.
Thank you for your presentation.
You're welcome. Does everybody have a folder? Did I? Yes?
No.
No.
I took somebody's.
That's all right. We've got an extra.
Thank you.
And consider yourself fully compliant at this point.
Is this your presentation?
This is not a presentation. It's actually a board that I will talk about.
All right. Got it.
All right. Shannon, thank you so much. That was a wonderful presentation. I know that we could have gotten it at the event, but I'm glad you came out, and I'm glad you took me back to Thurgood. You came to Thurgood in the late 2000s, walked right in there, and helped us build professional development in STEM, and you were not afraid to come to the West Side and do the work, so we go way, way back. So thanks for coming out. All right, our next point of business tonight is Meadowdale Career Technology Center High School. They have won the Momentum Award, and just to give you a background or update on what the Momentum Award is, it means that your school and or district has moved the performance index by 3 percentage points or more. That's a significant thing to do, 3 performance index percentage points. And this is a monumental achievement by the students, the families, the administration, your nutrition services, they're amazing. Saw them the other day. Your SROs, the entire body, counselors has to be involved whenever you move schools that much in 1 year. And so let's bring up the principal of Meadowdale Career Technology Center, the illustrious brother, Eddie Davis.
Wrap it up.
Like those colors.
Yeah, color coordinator.
Sorry, but if it was okay, I want to bring my whole team.
Well, that's
it's not just
you all about team, so
anything.
we already knew.
Yeah, so I want to bring my whole entire team up here because again, with this award, none of this will be able to be done. First off, I'm always going to give praise to the one above because again, none of this will take place if it wasn't for him putting me in this position. Secondly, being able to assemble a team that I have behind me right now with Mrs. Knox, who's now retired, but came back to Meadowdale to continue, doing work in a different capacity, so that's been my partner for how long? 5 years when, Meadowdale was in a very rough spot at that time. Then from that point, we got the addition of Mrs. Indy Thompson that came along as well, that complimented us over the past few years as well, who continue to be right there with me, nagging all the time. And then I had my long-term right here, Mr. Zivanzi. He was my social studies teacher, at Meadowdale. We built a great relationship over time. Been able to help grow and mentor him. He expressed that he wanted to become an administrator, and this was a perfect opportunity, that we were blessed by the board to be given to place him in this position. So again, he has been doing very, very well. So again, it's a collaborative effort with not only my team, as you stated, from counselors, my clerical staff, all of my teachers, coaches, all of us as one. It takes a village. And I can honestly say that we do have a village at Meadowdale that works continuously. Even when it don't look like we're working, we are always working. So again, I'm really thankful for this award that we have been blessed to receive.
Come back. Anybody got any questions?
Questions? Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations. Special events?
All right, special events. We have community cafes, 4 of them. I would like to acknowledge that they'll be at the Dayton Dream Center, which is April 20th, April 25th, Thurgood Marshall STEM High School, April 28th, Shempton State University West, and then May 2nd, Meadowdale CTC, and then another one, actually Dayton Metro Library on May 9th. So we will have this on our website. Please come out to our community cafes. Curriculum Roundtable. I am really excited about this. April 22nd, from 3 to 6, it will be here in this boardroom where we are today. We are inviting staff members, but also the community out to have a community conversation with us about curriculum. Curriculum is a word that's used over and over and over in education. I can assure you many times there aren't two of the same definitions. So we would love to come out and define that for it. There's a technical definition for it, and then have a conversation around what curriculum is in DPS and how we're implementing it and what it looks like and the progress we're making or not and what we're doing if we're not. So I'm really excited about it. It's a curriculum conversation. You don't often get a chance to have those with the community or staff members writ large who may not be part of the curriculum department. So April 22nd, 3 to 6 o'clock, that will be here in the boardroom, 136 South Ludlow Street. And, well, the semifinals were last week at Wright Brothers at 8 o'clock. I called Dr. Goodwine and she was there cheering our teams on. So we now have the finals for this week. Who's in the finals, Dr. Sheehy?
I got you.
Charity Adams is in the finals.
Is Charity Adams in the finals? Who's the coach for Charity Adams?
I need to know who the judge is.
Who's the coach?
Who
are the coaches for Charity Adams, Dr. Sheehy?
We going to Dr. Sheehy. We going against the Legends team, so you know.
I think the coaches for the charity teams are Dr. Benson Taylor and Dr. Goodwine. Those are the coaches for one of the finals teams. And who's the other finalist?
Stivers.
Okay, so let me say this: April 18th, 8 to 10 o'clock. The battle will be on.
That's middle school.
That's middle school.
High school will be Belmont and Stivers.
Middle school, Stivers, at Stivers, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock.
Oh, that's cheating.
That's
cheating. 6 was in.
Well, listen, I think they got beat at home last year. I think.
Oh.
Yeah. Is that?
They didn't.
No, they didn't?
They
Was that the
didn't.
year before?
That,
They
no,
got beat at Thurgood.
Thurgood won the year
Yeah,
before.
they got beat at Thurgood. Yeah, so this middle school, this Saturday, April 18th, 8 to 10 o'clock. I cannot wait to see that. And then finally, our 68th annual Lucy Mae Wyant Speech Contest. That's important, 68th. Tells you how important she was in that legacy. Wednesday, April 15th, that will be 6 o'clock at Wright Brothers Middle School. 6 o'clock, April 15th, Wright Brothers Middle School. So that concludes our district events, and we're going to bring up Chief Spurlock and lead principal Bashara Simmons to give some elementary and secondary updates.
Before you do that, can you get some insight of what exactly the community cafe is?
Yeah. Thank you, Brother Walker. This is an extension of our Forward Next Generation Learning work to continue to talk about how we do the work in phase 4, the implementation of that transformational work. And so that is big. We've had lots and lots of meetings about this, and the work wasn't just getting the designation. Thanks so much for asking that. It wasn't just the designation, which was in early March, but it's the work after that that really matters.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Board. For the past month, elementary schools have been very active in preparing for our Ohio state testings because when we came back from spring break, it was on. We celebrated with pep rallies, clap-ins, and celebrations, lifting up our students so they will be prepared for success and creating the atmospheres needed for successful testing. We did want to send out a special thanks to our DPS families for encouraging their students, ensuring that our students come to school on testing days and are ready to show what they know. 8 student community school gardens are getting started at Cleveland, Edison, Fairview, Kaiser, Louise Troy, Roosevelt, Ruskin, and Westwood. We actually have 2 buildings, Belhaven and Eastmont, that are creating sensory gardens for our students as well. Belhaven is actually working, their students are working with our opponent's construction students in the development of their sensory garden. It's a great collaboration. Kaiser actually put on a play called The Lion King and was recognized for their work by Disney Stage Connect. So we're really happy about Stivers and their performance. Rosa Parks will be holding their yearly Royal Ball, which is the equivalent of a prom for preschool, on April 30th for the students and their families to celebrate. Charity Adams, 6th grader Danielle Hudson, actually won the regionals and is going to be going on to the science fair for the state competition. So we're really excited about that. On Friday, kindergarten students from Eastmont, Edison, Louise Troy, Horace Mann, and Westwood all participated in the kindergarten podcast with our superintendent. And if you have seen any of those, they are certainly amazing. I cannot wait to see the finished products to see what our kindergartners are going to be talking about, because you just don't know. Miss Newman, a 6th grade teacher at Cleveland, was highlighted by Dayton Daily News on her approach of making learning come to life for her students. Valerie had 2 students, Nori Russell and Anthony Head, art displayed in the 46th annual Youth Art Month exhibition sponsored by the Ohio Art Education Association, and their work is actually on display at Riverside Methodist Hospital in Columbus, Ohio. And we are very, very pleased that after many, many years, we are holding the first DPS All-City Art Show at the K-12 Gallery right now through May 1st. We are so proud of our young artists and their teachers for nurturing their creativity all year long. And the arts are certainly a safe way for our students to express themselves and share how they are feeling. A special shout out to Joni Watson, who has been collaborating with our art teachers this year, and a reception will be held Saturday, April 25th from 11 to 1 at the K-12 Art Gallery for anyone that wants to come and see the students' art. Saturday, May 2nd, is going to be our All-City Arts Festival for all students at Riverscape, and we are already going to be beginning to practice the elementary schools together, and of course the high schools as well. May 6th is our Elementary Vehicle Day, where students get to explore careers that are tied to various vehicles and modes of transportation. We normally have recycling trucks, construction vehicles, and of course fire, police, ambulance, but the students get to go on there, hear the sirens, and get to see all the operation of the machinery. Thursday, May 5th, will be the final elementary intramural event. It's track and field at Welcome Stadium. Now, if you went to the Chess and Checkers last month, there was a great debate going in. There was actually a tie for the first time in a lot of years between Valerie and Cleveland. I talked to both coaches. Coach Tria thought that he saw the gold, but Coach Bailey said absolutely not, and it ended up being Valerie in first place and Cleveland in second place reluctantly, but it was close all the way going into, from chess going into checkers. As previously noticed, all of our elementaries already held their building speech contests, so each of the winners going to tomorrow night's competition are building winners and should be celebrated. I did say last month that I was just going to highlight our arts for guaranteed experiences for every grade level, and I'm going to do it very quickly. Preschool, the theme was Introduction to Storytelling Through Music, and so the students got to experience programs called The Great Dinosaur Escape, Sky King. Kindergarten was Movement and Expression, and they got to experience ballet. First grade was Instrumental Families, and they experienced woodwinds, brass, and string quartets. And they also did a science, it's called the Science of Strings. So that's what our first graders got to experience. Our second graders did the Science of Sound and Movement residencies, and they got to dive deeper into physics sound waves, and also had an intensive dance residency, which is pretty amazing for our second graders. Our third grade was called The Magic of Opera, and they got to experience Hansel and Gretel, a story that they all knew, but from an opera perspective. Fourth grade was the Symphony and Self, and they got to have a a residency and actually a field trip to the Schuster Center. 5th grade was orchestra swing, focusing on the influence of jazz and swing in the American Orchestra. And they actually got to go to the Schuster Center also and had in-house. And our 6th was the vocational of arts, and they got to look at the human side of the profession of art. So they got to experience who wants to be an opera singer, march to the beat, or who wants to be a dancer. So those are some things that are happening, great things happening in our elementaries. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Doesn't look like there's any.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. At this time, secondary as well is heavily focused on testing. Our principals and staff are working tirelessly to modify schedules and activities to ensure every student has an environment conducive to do their very, very best. So with that said, here's some highlights across the district from secondary. At Wright Brothers, 4 students have been named finalists for the Ohio Young Scholars Program. 7 students have applied for the Law and Leadership Institute through the University of Dayton. At Belmont, 2 juniors in the Urban Teacher Program were selected for summer internships at Preschool Promise. They will gain real-world experience in early childhood education through professional coaching and mentorship. Belmont also has 48 students recently inducted into the National Honor Society. Along with the Momentum Award at Meadowdale, 17 students qualified for the State Health Occupation Students Association competition this year, and Meadowdale also completely swept the surgical tech category. At Stivers, 1 student, Chloe Ryan, has been accepted to Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Cornell, Notre Dame, Duke, and Johns Hopkins, among The Stivers Chamber Choir delivered a stellar performance at opening day for the Dragons during the national anthem for opening day. It's also prom season. Meadowdale and Thurgood hosted their prom this past weekend, and we look forward to several other celebrations taking place throughout this month. So again, in closing, as always, these achievements reflect the hard work of our students and their dedication and our staff dedication. We are incredibly proud of the momentum building across our district, and we look forward to keeping this going throughout the school year. Thank you.
Any questions? Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Chloe Ryan is also, I just want to put it out there, she's also Student Senate's Vice President.
Do we have any hearing from the bargaining units?
You want to talk upstairs or down here?
He already requested executive session.
Executive session.
We're upstairs.
Hearing from the public, it is inappropriate to address, limit remarks to 3 minutes. The president has the discretion to extend the time. When your time is up, you are to stop speaking. It is inappropriate to address any matter involving pending disputes, grievances under labor agreement, disciplinary action involving an employee or a student, ongoing labor negotiations, concerns, or matters that have already been settled, and/or any matter which, because of its nature, is deemed appropriate to be discussed in executive session. The purpose of this public hearing portion of the meeting is for members of the public to express viewpoints and public concerns. Is there anyone?
Yes,
What we have?
we do. Dominic Settles. Dominic. Okay. Cynthia Johnson. Cynthia Johnson. Jessica Valentine. Jessica Valentine.
She's here.
Okay.
Hello, Board. for the renewal of our parent ambassador leader. I just wanted to say that she's been an exemplary employee and has made a significant positive impact within the Dayton community. Her role is essential, particularly in the areas of parent engagement and the NGL initiative, which I've been a part of with the NGL initiative since the beginning. She is a highly effective leader for our parent ambassadors and all of the Dayton public schools. Her departure is truly concerning and has affected my perspective of DPS. As an involved parent, serving as a parent ambassador for Horace Mann and a family resource coordinator at Ruskin and working with East End Community Services, I can honestly say her presence will be greatly missed. I want to emphasize that she is an outstanding individual and her absence will be deeply felt within the parent engagement community. So that's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's it.
All right, thank you. Superintendent?
Dr. Bailey, I would like to ask the board to take my recommendations B through G with exception of any that you'd like to pull for executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Dr. Bailey,
Yes, ma'am.
can I pull a couple items, please?
Yes, ma'am.
On B, can I pull B8? Can I pull the, on, one second.
D8.
B8.
B8.
B is in boy. On D, can I pull D20, D21? On B, can I pull the admin placements? On,
What is that?
it's just a, it just
That's
says,
the
that's
attachment.
what it
Oh,
says.
okay.
On B.
B, okay.
And on E, can I pull DSS placements? I'll do it for me. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, Mr. Smith, you want to.
You can go ahead, Mr. Walker.
Can I pull B3, B4? Did you already pull 21? So I'll pull D22.
B3.
B3, B4. B8 and D21 is already pulled, so D22.
D is in dog, 22.
Yeah. Mr. Smith?
C8. And I think my colleagues already lifted the other ones I had questions on. Yeah, that was it for me, I think. Anyone else?
Not to pull, but I had a question.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to understand D17 and D18.
Same person in the hold.
Yeah, just trying to, I guess I'm confused on,
Exactly what they're requesting.
yeah.
They're just to change the location, that's all.
One has hold and the other one has.
Coming up, Dr. Davis, we ain't seen you in a while.
While she's coming, let it be noted that Ms. Garrison is here, 1813.
Hello, D17, she is moving currently to the from the executive secretary position to the financial assistant position, which is part of the clerical union. Because she's in the middle of a contract at the end of the year where this is happening, her salary is on hold. She will be in that same position, 7-1, so the 7-1 reflects what it will be at the beginning of the 26-27 school year.
Got it. Executive secretary is under DSS and the other one is in it. Got it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I was confused on. All right, thank you. And Dr. Davis, just a nod. TM is temporary, CL is classified.
Yes, sir.
Got it, okay. All right, thank
Anything
you.
else? Call for a vote?
President Bailey,
Yes.
Dr. Goodwin,
Yes.
Mr. Lacy,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Reinhardt,
Yes.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Ms. Garrison,
Abstain.
Ms. Woods.
Yes.
6 yeses, 1 abstain.
Dr. Bailey, I recommend the approval of the after July 10th DEA resignations for a vote.
So moved.
Second.
Any concerns, questions?
Can I vote on H2, H1, 2, and 5 separately?
H1, 2, and 5.
And 5.
Excuse me. Anything else? Anybody else?
If I may, Mr.
Yes,
President,
go ahead.
I just want to recognize that there's a name on the resignations of somebody who has made a huge impact in this district, and I am so sorry to see them go. Well, they'll be missed.
I'll vote.
Oh, wow. Sorry.
I'll vote. Which one is this?
The first one. Everything except for H1, 2, and 5.
H. Okay.
H 1, 2, 5. Okay. President Bailey,
Yes.
yes? Okay. Dr. Goodwin,
No.
Mr. Lacy,
No.
Mr. Smith,
Got enough.
Hold on. This is H1, 2, and 5, right?
No, this is
No,
H3.
this is 3, 4,
It's the
and
teachers, not the
6.
long-term sub.
Yeah, so H3, 4, and 6.
Oh, yes.
No, mine should have been in
yes?
there. Yeah.
Did,
Yeah, he said yes. He always-
okay.
You can switch Dr.
Okay.
Bailey to another.
Mr. Ms. Reinhardt,
Yes.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Ms. Garrison,
Yes.
Ms. Woods,
No.
okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
One more month with you.
Oh, he requested?
Yeah. To change this to no.
No? Okay.
Correct.
Okay. 1, 2, 4 yeses, 3 no.
I got to win.
You're so happy.
And can we vote all the rest separately or all
No,
together?
together. Next one
Okay.
separate.
So for those.
For
separately?
H1, for
All together.
H2, and H5.
Just, yeah.
So all together,
H1, H2,
means 5.
H5. Okay. President Bailey,
No.
Dr. Goodwin,
Yes.
Mr. Lacy,
No.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Reinhardt,
Yes.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Ms. Garrison,
Yes.
Ms. Woods,
Yes.
5 yeses and 2 noes.
Dr. Bailey, I'd ask the board to take a look at budget information. If they have any questions, Madam Treasurer and I can respond, or our staff.
Any questions?
Yes. So last year, we had a discussion about the process for adjuncts and making sure that we did not go over numbers and things like that. So this one says that 55 of them are field, adjunct visual and performing arts, and it says position budgeted is 50. So where does the budget for the other 5 come from?
Really, this one is we budget, but we don't, the budget, a person doesn't get the request, but they are within the budget. As you can see, the budget amount is $737,500, but so far what it's spent is $433,356. So in budget, we're looking at the dollar amount, not at the EFT.
Okay, that makes
Okay.
sense. So, okay, appreciate that. Then, Dr. Lawrence, looking at this list, so the district intervention specialists, we are short 61 certified intervention specialists? Or 61 certified intervention specialists?
Certified possibly, all together, that's not correct. So certified possibly, they're very difficult to find.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other questions? Sorry. All right.
Dr. Bailey, I'd like the board, all of these are for review. I'd like them to take a look at the Five Rivers Metro Center, Five Rivers Health Center for review. I'm gonna go past superintendent's contracts, bell schedule for review. Preschool Promise, that's an extension of our reconfiguration in the district. We said we would get that on for, that actually is gonna be on for a vote for reimbursement as we move to centralized preschools, one on the west side, Rosa Parks, and three on the east side. And then out of country for Stivers, review, Ohio Department of Youth, Children and Youth, that's a review. Sinclair CCP is a review, but it's a continuation of a contract we always have for 336501, which is CCP for the whole state. And then on-site, near-site clinic for review. Madam Treasurer and I have been working on that for 3 years. And so we're taking bids on having health clinics for our employees internally for Dayton Public Schools, and then travel and reimbursement for the superintendent.
Any comments or questions?
D is for a vote, right?
Yes, yep, D is for a vote. Got to get that going.
Mr. President,
Yes.
if I may ask a question.
Yes.
Didn't we view the bell schedule at our last board meeting?
We did.
Are you not ready for that for a vote, or is it?
Thank you, Dr. Goodwin. I am ready for that for a vote.
Did we get any feedback anywhere?
We did get some feedback. We got some feedback. We got about 6 or 7 folks. One is, I think I love the new bell schedule. The other 4 or 5 are really around, this is an inconvenience because of my work schedule, or this is an inconvenience because of the time, or why are these students who are small going early versus others. I am so glad you asked that, Dr. Goodwin. I would just say to the responses that we received, that I would ask DPS parents help support us in advocating for being able to select our own bell times. If we were able to do that outside the parameters of charter schools, you would have a lot more choice as it relates to when our schools start. So we do have lots of restrictions that are a function of Ohio Revised Code and support for charter schools or anti-public school support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If I may, Dr. Bailey, I'd like to make a motion for us to vote on bell schedule and agreement funding for Preschool Promise.
Second. All right. Call for vote.
Which ones?
So,
C and D.
which one, are we voting on which ones now?
C and D.
C and D.
Just
C and D.
Everything else is for review.
And we have to refresh first or something.
Mr. President, if I may.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Goodwine, could you repeat your request for the bell schedule item, please?
My motion or my request?
Your,
My motion is the vote on C and D.
okay, what was the request that you made?
My
I didn't
request
quite hear
was,
it.
did we get any feedback, because we received the bell schedule at our last meeting.
Okay.
And that's what Dr. Lawrence just gave us.
Okay, thank you.
Are we ready to vote? Or is there any more questions?
Can we vote for them separate?
Want to vote for them separately?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll be voting on the bell schedule first.
See.
C.
Roll call.
Okay. President Bailey,
Yes.
Dr. Goodwine,
Yes.
Mr. Lacy,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Reinhardt,
Yes.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Ms. Garrison,
No.
Ms. Woods.
Yes.
6 yeses, 1 no.
And a vote on, anybody have any questions on D? The agreement?
Mr. Smith does.
Yes, Mr. Smith.
So, Dr. Lawrence, just for clarity, in here it says once Preschool Promise, their payment for their portion that they're gonna do for this is up to $235,000, correct?
That is correct.
So what contingencies do we have in place, or do we have any thought right now of how many families that would be able to provide services for? And then what are we thinking if we get to a place where we go past that number provided here in this contract?
Chief Spurlock is going to come up and give you some feedback. She manages Rosa Parks Preschool and has really managed that entire process in the preschool, so she knows what
Appreciate it.
Hello, I ask that you look at that document. It's 12 pages. If you go down, we have some projections on, just based on our current students and what they would qualify for. So we have some scenarios on that they would qualify and how many may or may not. So we worked with Preschool Promise. We worked with Richard Stock. It looked at our data of students, because we do have a lot of students that are already receiving benefits, and that the state would reimburse us 100% for those. And so if you look at our scenarios, we have lots of scenarios that we believe would cover. And in working with Preschool Promise, we believe that there may be some families that do need full tuition. They'll cover part for some, because the state will cover up the rest. And then some may need full tuition. So we believe that with all of the funds coming in, we'll be able to cover all families, just based on those projections. This is kind of our year where we're going to be looking. We worked with Andrew, our budget director, and also Preschool Promise, to make sure that we set aside some money just in case we don't have enough. So this is kind of our test year, and then we'll know for sure how much money we need to allocate. Do we need to ask for more for Preschool Promise, because they want to walk this journey with us. In addition to these funds, they're also working and training our staff to make sure that we are completing all paperwork and that we apply for all funding available.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Dr. Lawrence.
Yeah, no problem at all. Thank you for the question.
Any other questions or concerns?
How many children in preschool do we have right now?
Right now, we are just over 700.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Call for vote.
President Bailey,
Yes.
Dr. Goodwine,
Yes.
Mr. Lacy,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Reinhardt,
Yes.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Ms. Garrison,
Yes.
Ms. Woods.
Yes.
7
Yes.
yeses.
Dr. Bailey, if there are no
We use
questions.
it as the same motion.
Okay.
Goodwine and Smith.
Dr. Goodwine?
Okay. On a couple questions. One, can you tell me a little bit about item F? I'm gonna have more questions after this. You wanna think about that one? Like I said,
Yeah,
other
no,
questions.
actually, that's an appendage to preschool promise. I think Ms. Spurlock's coming back to that. That's it.
That's what I thought it
Yep,
was.
sure
That's why
is.
I'm like.
Mhm.
Yes, this is an appendage to preschool promise. This is an agreement where we electronically sign to say that our district wants to be included in the PFCC funding, also the early childhood education grants, and any other funding that our students would qualify for, so we can bring additional funding into the district to supplement the cost for our preschool. That's what this agreement is with the Ohio Department of Children and Youth.
Is there a timeline on this agreement?
We do this on a yearly basis.
Okay. Okay, thank you on that one. Two additional, actually three questions, so I'm done with you, Ms. Furlong. That's it. That's all I have for you.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
The next question, just a little update on kind of how our CCP programs are going now. I know this is the annual agreement. Just if we can get some feedback on how we're looking. Did we have any that are graduating this year with their associates? Are we on target for some? Just any of that piece on that one. Second question, why that person?
Allen's coming up.
I know, I was like, okay, okay, Miss Allen. She was like, I know this program. And I believe that's Chief Dooley, but while that one's coming up, the next one, a second question I'll have is just some information on the Dayton Board of Education on-site and near-site clinic. I think I know what it is, kind of cool to hear about. And then finally, just want to know where we are, if we're participating in the Youth Works program, because I haven't seen that come up yet, and we're in April, and I want to make sure we make that. So just those three.
I got you on all three. CCP, we are progressing. We're going to have more credits. We projected to have more credits than we have the year before. So we continue to have more CCP credits, but no, we will not have anyone who is graduating with an associate degree. How can I say this? I would just say that as we go through this process, I think Justin was last year, we have some sophomores who I think will be on track based on how we started the program right now and what we're doing.
Can we get the tangible, because I do believe Thurgood next year has some, but just
Yes,
if we could
next
get
year,
some breakdowns of each schools of how the investment in the program is going and how that is faring out, that would be great.
I got you.
I love generals, but numbers speak a lot better.
So no to that, but yes. And then the second one was the clinic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Madam Treasurer and I started at my first year. We went to Cincinnati to investigate.
I sent you, I know.
You did, you sure did, my first year. So it's been a couple of years, so it's been a process as we've kind of gone through and looked at our healthcare spending, our healthcare costs. She and I have sat down with Gordon Rayburner and asked the question, like, how can we, on the front end, how can we reduce costs on the front end so that we can reinvest that money into the organization, so to speak, those resources. And so we asked for some bids for on-site healthcare vendors, and operations has helped us by looking for some parcels of property where we may be able to build in that space. One of them was right outside Jackson Center, that giant field right there, that was one of them. But our goal is to have on-site clinic work for all staff so that they don't have to go outside of that.
What's the actual ask here for us to vote on next week? Because this is the executive summary, but it does list 3 different vendors. So what are you asking us to do?
We're asking you to just let us move forward with taking those vendors and moving down this pathway.
Can we get this written in a way that says that?
Yes.
Or something on that?
Yes, you can. Yep.
Okay.
I'll make a note of that.
And that next question on the Youth Works program.
YouthWorks, I saw an email that went out, and I'm looking at emails going back and forth, so I know we're involved in the YouthWorks process in terms of central services. I know operations is involved, so we are heavily involved right now. Ms. Dooley is leading that charge and having YouthWorks back for this year and continue to increase our numbers. I gave them to you guys during my the data that I gave you last month. And so we're looking forward to having even more students than we had the year before. So
That's-
we're moving in that direction. We're there.
That's awesome. Hopefully, we can get just as much participation as we get in the operations and physical labor, that we can get that in the office as well, so children can see multiple careers and what they can do in that. Has always been my ask for you. I have two final questions, Dr.
Okay.
Davis. Can you tell us a little bit, because I know how much you love to talk, what is the actual Institute for Education Innovation? How does that benefit us? Talk to me about it.
I do not. I try to say the least amount possible.
I want to know what you asked. Tell us how this benefits us.
It continues to put us on a national stage. I'm in Chiefs for Change, which is on a national stage. I'm in the Council of Great City Schools, where we present. You've seen this national stage. It gives us an opportunity to continue to talk about the great things we're doing. In this case, we'll be talking about how we utilize services outside of just principal supervision. So part of our forwarding generation network in terms of how we use pathways to drive student outcomes and student achievement, and how all means all. So I will leave it at that.
Appreciate that. And then my final one, can we just get maybe some pictures or something from, because I think just about every year we approve some out-of-country field trip for Stivers, but we never see what happens with it. It'd be nice. Somebody took a picture where they went. I want to know if they went or not.
You know what?
Just saying.
I see Mr. Simmons typing over there, tapping, so we will make sure that, yeah, we get some pictures back. That's a great request.
Well, I'm asking for the last ones. I know this was coming up, but just show us what happened and want to know if this really is something that's enriching kids.
Peru.
and
If you say they're out
families.
here, we'll see if they're happy.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Davis.
Was that Peru was the last one?
Mr. Smith? Yes. Could you give me, and I don't need this today, but before next week, what are we planning to do with the Media Arts Studio with those upgrades, and then how that will better that, that program? And then
All right, I got you.
additionally, what are some of the things that we could also utilize those students for to help them along that path? Knowing that there's just so many, to me, there's so many opportunities for them to really, really hone in on what they're learning, but then also to be a bonus at some of the things that we do in the district. For instance, the way we've started to utilize our culinary arts program more. The way that we were able to showcase them at the Ford NGL program. I think that there's really a space for those media arts students there. Especially with this superintendent I got, they got a pretty nice podcast, you know what I mean? Just saying, so, but I don't need that today. If somebody can just get that to me by next week, I appreciate it.
Consider that, we got you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Walker?
So, for the last 3 years, I've asked about other buildings to take out-of-country trips, and I've yet to see anyone but Stivers. Like, do we give anyone else opportunities? Do we have teachers that are interested in it? What barriers may exist that other buildings don't take advantage of those opportunities? Or how do we get more students interested in those opportunities? Again, I've asked for the last 3 years this same question each time that this comes up.
I don't think there are barriers. I know of a teacher, a couple of teachers off the top of my head outside of Stivers, you know who they are too, that might be interested. I think this will be one of the first things that I give to Dr. Lowry when she comes. I think it just needs, from our end, a connection to the central office to help them work through the process itself, fundraising, planning, logistics, interest. And so that'll probably be one of the first things I give to Dr. Lowry.
Okay, thanks. And just since we're talking about next things, if we could get information about the schools that took college tours. And just see what happened there and things like that.
We got you. College tours?
Yes. Thank you.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. Meadowdale was one of them. College tours information, and then other schools outside of the country are doing Stivers.
All right, that's something else.
Sure, Mr. Smith?
Okay, so, question on contracts with the 21st Century Community Learning Center grant There's after-school programming at Louise Troy through Grace United Methodist Church. Will this be impacted any by the building in that church being up for sale?
Hey, I can answer that because they talked about it in our committee meeting.
Okay.
You know.
Maybe so. Like you watch the after school
Go right
special.
Yeah,
Wrote songs about it.
Because we talked about this, but we also talked about the buildings that are being reconfigured and
Okay.
if that would like impact their dollars and things like that. It will not because, Ms. Graham, correct me if I'm wrong, the United Methodist piece component is still like the holder of the award, and it's like the district is managing the funds, but the program will still exist.
Okay.
And this is the last year of that contract or something, or is that another building?
This is year 4 for that grant. The grant's actually ours.
Yeah.
They're our partner.
Yeah. It's the same thing with Louise Troy, since they're going K through 5, then it does not impact their grant either, because it's still students that are going to be served under it that's currently in the same grade band. You know, paid attention a little bit when it was presented.
Good job, Mr. Walker.
You listen to me for once.
Question.
It's a good one.
Thank you. Don't sound impatient. This review. Can we hear a little bit about what to expect with the retirement celebration as we are honoring individuals?
We can. I will call Dr. Davis up. We just picked the award, what we're giving out today. It's kind of the trinket that we're going to be giving out.
A trinket?
Well, it's a little bit more than that.
Brother Rayford said he better not get no
Right.
trinket.
Brother Rayford, I asked because I saw you in here. Talk to us about what we got going on.
We got a little something for you.
Yes, the retirement celebration is scheduled again for May the 6th, and it's going to be at the Rotunda again across the street. It's going to be pretty similar to what it was last year, except for the decorations. And we're looking forward. We do have something other than clocks this year, so we're waiting for the final design on that one, and then so have that rolled out for you. Yes.
Dr. Goodwin, I'm afraid you have a conflict that day. You have a policy committee meeting.
Oh, I took care of that. We took care of that. That's already off the books,
That's
Mr.
been
Lacy.
canceled. Yes, sir. Sorry you didn't get that notification.
It's on my calendar.
Dang.
Oh,
It's exciting. Excited to celebrate the individuals who've given their service to this district. I do hope if you are speaking on a retiree that you give them their flowers properly, as it is the highlight of the event. So thank you. You're welcome.
Anything else? All right.
That concludes my review recommendations. Thank you so much, Dr. Bailey.
All right. Madam Treasurer.
Okay. All mine are for review only. The recommendation is the permanent interfund transfer. We are transferring from general fund to Fund 13, which is our Welcome Stadium, $60,000. We'll go to B. B is temporary advance. We are advancing from general fund to Fund 551, which is Title III Fund, 5,100. C is monthly financial report for March. Yesterday, we had our meeting with the Finance Committee, and it is reviewed by the Finance Committee. D is donations. We have several donations. Thank you, donors. And after it is approved, I'm going to send a letter to the donors. E is approval of minutes, the minutes for March 10, March 18. F is purchase requisitions. We have several purchase requisitions. We can review together, and if you have any questions, we'll discuss.
Questions?
So, I do have questions. I do want to clarify something we did here in finance, that Welcome Stadium itself is not just Welcome Stadium. It is building things as well that make up that budget line item. Dr. B, is that right? Okay. All right. The questions I have are, Dr. Lawrence or Treasury, or under purchase requisitions, the juvenile court purchase rec, the educational materials for opponents, those are listed under general fund, but I'm curious of why it cannot come out. For instance, opponents, if it's educational materials, why cannot come out of the CTE, CTC budget instead of general fund? For juvenile court, if it's OEC, why can it not come out of OEC budget and not general fund?
So the juvenile court one started off as general funds, and I think it's because of the flexibility over there that our partnership with them does not allow that type of grant funding. I just want to say to you too, that Ms. Minor and I had a meeting with the juvenile court around truancy and some other issues. We'll be working on trying to understand how we can have, it's from a curriculum teaching standpoint, also cost reduction over there. So that's part of next year's planning. If you come back to cabinet, I think it's going to be, of course, going to be on that agenda. And then Ponens, where are you with Ponens? David H. Ponens.
Yeah, my question more so, if it's under a pathway, but it's coming out of general fund, why can it not come out of that CTE budget?
It's general fund.
I totally get that it's general fund. My question more so is, we get state dollars and things like that for CTE, right?
Yeah.
So why can it not come out of there instead of general fund?
But that one is the portion of general fund. It's not for CTE only. CTE cannot cover.
Okay, so what
You know what I think we should do? Because you've been in all the committee meetings, really engaged. We probably should have a CTE versus general fund in terms of how, and CTE, Perkins, 6B. We should go over that in finance or school programming.
That would be great.
Yeah, we got you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
And then
got you.
my last question would.
I just was redirected to finance.
Finance.
Your committee. See,
She went into the school program?
She said, get it out.
His question, go to his
So
committee here.
CTE, Perkins, 6B, we'll do that in finance, all right?
Okay.
At the next finance meeting, so the treasurer and I work on that. And title.
Perfect.
All right.
The last question that I have is, how effective are TV commercials that we're spending $10,000 online?
You know, it's difficult to tell, like to disaggregate our increases in student enrollment.
This one says HR.
Call HR up.
Oh, well, it's difficult to tell. Let me say this, it's difficult to tell about our recruitment, in terms of recruitment of teachers. From a methodology standpoint, that's a complex ask to say, hey, is the commercial responsible for us retaining people, having more third-grade teachers apply or more ninth grade algebra 1? Not impossible, but difficult. Because we do so many things. You know, here's what we do know, first of all, from a research standpoint. Most staff members who are coming here to apply, they were directed here, word of mouth. That's the number one thing. Yeah, so to answer your question, we do know that. It's not the commercial, it's word of mouth and things that we're doing around Ford, athletics, programming, or someone knows somebody of the 2,500 employees we have.
that didn't really answer how we spending $10,000 on a TV.
Hey, let me say this. You know, part of I'll say this. Part of my job is to synthesize the things that the 7 of you want, and I heard a lot about the television commercials in my 3 years. So
Bailey's shaking his head.
So here we are. I mean, we have the television commercials, and we'll see if they work.
Okay.
This our first time doing television commercials?
I think this is this the second? Dr. Davis did her first year.
Can I
She can-
just ask Dr. Davis to tell us about it? Because you just tell us circles.
I'm just telling you.
I'm just saying, if we did it 1 year, 101 first year, go.
Okay.
Does that help you with the clarification, Mr. Walker?
It does.
Because I know he's going in circles.
Yeah.
That's an educator right there. I'm gonna talk through it. It's almost like a Baptist pastor.
Look at Bailey.
Would it be possible to get back with you with that data? The reason I'm saying it is because the company that does it, they do give me analytics about the
Okay.
number of hits we get on social media and things like that. It did increase our social media presence, but I haven't received that data recently. So if you can give me a moment to get that data, I'm happy to share it with you.
Yeah, I'm curious on, like, the increase in the presence is one thing, but people walking in the door and things like that and actually getting jobs based upon them seeing. Like, so I don't know if there's an internal that, hey, how did you hear about us? And like,
We have not sent out a survey like that, but we're happy to do
Okay.
so in terms of our new candidates. How did they learn about the position? Absolutely.
okay, thank you.
I was going to say, I see a lot of times with applications, people ask that question. Could that be something for the future that you put on there?
No, sir. Our applications are standard format through the company that our applications are posted on, but we can gather that information in a different format.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Can you let us know, too, with the data, which markets we're in?
Sure.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's the last time, I swear, that you have.
Might not be.
Don't swear. That's
Down
why I
here.
said don't swear.
Oh, follow-up question. Are we on any streaming platforms?
Yes, we are, we run between the commercials that come on, I believe it was Netflix and Hulu. I can confirm that.
Appreciate it if you did.
I don't pay for ads, so I
Right.
can't.
I mean, Hulu, I'm gonna pay for ads.
Yeah, who I pay for ads? man.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right,
Thank
thanks.
Anything else? Any other questions, concerns? If not,
Oh,
Treasurer, you done?
I'm done.
Okay.
Mr. Smith has
I can
something.
just reach
Oh,
out. I'm just,
never
if
mind.
you are reach out.
He said he good.
You
He missed the
good?
window.
Okay. All right, new business, board members, travel expense and reimbursement.
So move.
Second.
Any comments or questions? No, thank you. Vote.
President Bailey,
Yes.
Dr. Goodwin,
Yes.
Mr. Lacy,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Reinhardt,
Yes.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Ms. Garrison,
Yes.
Ms. Woods.
Yes.
7 yeses.
Thank you. Board members' comments, I'm going to start at the top. Ms. Garrison?
Just want to thank everybody for bearing with me in my absence. My son had senior night tonight. He's a senior. I'm still excited, as you guys can tell. So thank you for being patient with me, board member team. Thank everyone who came to the presentations, although I viewed some of those, I didn't see them in person. And thank you all for being here and bearing with us through all the jokes, the commentaries, and the steps that you're getting in, coming back up to this podium and having a seat. We appreciate you and your patience with us. Thank you, board member team, for your great questions. And the school year's wrapping up. We're excited about what's to come. So more with these transitions. Please encourage, we have a lot of job openings. Please encourage your colleagues, your peers, your friends, family members to apply. And let's end this year strong and start next year off hopefully on a great foot. Thank you so much.
All right. Dr. Goodwin, Esquire?
appreciate you getting all my titles, put the masters on there next time. First, I want to say congratulations to Ms. Linda Neal, who received the Youth and Family Award, Mr. Sidney Booker, who received the Public Service and Civic Impact Award, Ms. Nyree Holt, who received the Unsung Hero Award, and Ms. Lisa Miner, who received the Innovation and Visionary Award from the CWC Honors. Give it up for them. They got some really good stuff. It's really good to see, and if you didn't see, if you go watch the videos that they talk a little bit about their lives, it's always interesting to hear how people talk about themselves versus what we believe that they would do. So I always give people their flowers while you can, because you never know when's the last time we're going to be able to do that. So congrats to you guys all again. I will say this week, none of my committees have met, so I don't have anything for you guys on that. I'll have it at the next meeting. Currently, I am reading the book Dune and Great Big Beautiful Life. We're continuing. I think, guys, you should continue to share if you are reading books as often as you can, because the generation that comes after millennials and beyond, and millennials included, need to read and write more. It's necessary to be successful in school. Finally, I want to say the reality of our district, we got a lot of changes. Actually, we got big changes that are coming. We are 3 years away from ESSERS, which if you are watching what's happening with other public institutions, finances have changed significantly. Our finance committee has met to go over them, and it's unfortunate that we are at a point in time where public education isn't invested in as heavily as it is, which means there are going to be positions that we lose, there are going to be services that we lose, and there are going to be changes that come. Like any other time in our history, we have to be resilient in those type of things. We're gonna rely on community members. We're going to rely on individuals that we can't compensate as much as we would like to. These things happen, and I hope that if there's anything that I can do to help anyone, and as we move forward in this, I'm here for you in that piece of it. But just know that this board does have difficult decisions to make as we move forward, and it has been something that we have held off on as long as we possibly could. But we are now at that time where the finances no longer are as high as they were when we got extra cash. So we got stuff to do. Pray for us, keep us lifted, and hope that we do things that are right and just, no matter what decisions we make as a body. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy birthday, girl, Ms. Reiner.
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate it. I thank you for the birthday note. A couple things for review is last month I attended the Ohio School Board Association Legislation Conference out in Columbus. It was a fantastic day, half day, getting a lot of good information and having an opportunity to interact with our legislators who are connected to education on the House and Senate Education Committees. I had a very good conversation with Senator Brenner about a few things. It was interesting. I want to thank him for that. A few items that I wanted to flag for my board colleagues and for the general public. The first is Senate Bill 19. This is a bill that is attempting to it's kind of like an omnibus bill, and it includes an interesting aspect. It is trying to approach teaching math education in the same way that the science of reading is, and it's kind of there's no equivalent to the science of math as there is a science of reading. The science of reading is very different, but what the state is attempting to do is to really dig down into math curriculum and improve math outcomes for K-12 students. There are, I'm not going to get into detail. If you have questions about it, ask me afterwards, and I'll give you a lot of information about it. For my colleagues, again, there's a House bill that I think you would be interested in hearing about, and that is House Bill 473. It's currently pending, or was at time of these notes in March, in the House of Public Insurance and Pensions Committee. This will prohibit public employers from paying employee contributions to state retirement system. It basically means it will prohibit the pickup on the pickup. There is a proposed legislation that will eliminate two methods of employee contributions, the employer-paid pickup and employer-paid included in contribution pickup on the pickup, and only allows salary reductions and would apply to the next contract cycle. So we have to keep our eye on that one. There were a few things also from that conference that are of note. ODU is hiring retired teachers as literary coaches. If you are a retired teacher and you want to be a literacy coach, Applications are open. This is a great opportunity for our retired teachers to, if they find that retirement is giving them a little bit too much free time, they can apply through ODU to be a literacy coach. I passed some information along to Superintendent Lawrence about the Ohio C program. If he wants to give any updates about that, this is a program that helps students get eyeglasses. So I just returned from the National School Board Association annual conference in San Antonio. Attached to my name under new business, I have my conference report. There are two things that I thought were really, really interesting. If you want to go through the notes and read my notes about the sessions that I attended, they were there. Two things that I wanted to bring to this dais is, the first is the James Madison Memorial Fellowship Foundation. This is for high school students who teach social studies and history. It is a fantastic fellowship that will pay for 2 years of a master's degree, up to $24,000. It is an incredible, incredible program. I would encourage all of our eligible DPS teachers to look at this program and see if it applies to them. Incredible opportunity for some pretty significant tuition support, great fellowship. And a link to that is in the document. The second item that I wanted to bring to the attention is I attended a fantastic session from a district in Texas, and I can't recall what district it is right now. They talked about board superintendent relationships, but one of the things that they talked about was a hub for information for board members. It's kind of like a one-stop shop for board members to have documents and information. It is for board members only. It is absolutely in compliance with sunshine laws, so freedom of information requests and all relevant data that can be released upon request is it is subject to the same laws. It is a fantastic resource for board members to go and have all the information at their fingertips. Dr. Lawrence, I'm happy to share some more information about that later. I thought it would be really relevant to, you know, the board members make a lot of requests about documents, and sharing them and storing them in one place where board members can all access the same thing and have a lot of information at their fingertips might be really helpful in terms of board organization. The last I will do, Dr. Goodwine. I just finished reading the novel Yesteryear. It got released on my birthday, and I had been waiting for it for a few months. I was really excited to read it. I recommend it. And I am reading for book group this month, The Correspondent.
I love that.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Smith III.
Thank you, sir. You know, man.
Go ahead, Trey.
I had another one. First, I want to thank Mr. Stephen Wright from the Dayton Daily News. They did a wonderful piece on our young ladies and the flag football programs that we have here. They took some amazing pictures. I've been able to see families that were just so thrilled to share those pictures and just put a big spotlight on there. Went out to see a few games. I appreciate just everyone that has come out. Even was able to see some college coaches out there. Some of our young ladies have been offered scholarships to go on to the next level to play flag football. So I want to give a big kudos to Chief Jones and the work that she did to get our young ladies playing this sport years in advance. You know, there's been a big push, especially in some of the HBCUs, to start adding flag football as a sport. NCAA actually has listed flag football as coming in as a Title IX sport, so they'll be able to get funding there. And so our students are at a distinct advantage. And if you went out to see some of the games that they've played, some cities that are not as advanced and not been out there playing flag football as we had been doing, you could really see the difference. You can see how much they love it, and also just seeing how it adds another aspect to our students' lives. Unfortunately, because of funding and programs that we do not have as much in the inner city, a lot of our youth do not get acclimated to being around each other until they get to these kind of spaces. especially for our young ladies. It's a unfortunate thing that unless they're really in cheerleading and drill team, our young ladies really don't have significant time around their peers until they get into our schools. And so being able to have this, one of the things I saw also was just the camaraderie, just those things that I hope to see extend into the school buildings. So I just really want to say thank you to the Dayton Daily News, because I would point a finger if they did something bad, but on this one I give them a few props on that one, and they really did appreciate that. And on top of that, I just want to encourage people to get out and also check out our baseball and our softball programs, our boys volleyball and our track. We talk about football and basketball and those things through the year, but these young athletes really love seeing you come out there as well. And I also want to add on to what Dr. Goodwine said. There's just a lot of nervousness that you see around the state. If you look up at Cleveland, Cleveland made a decision recently where they're closing 29 buildings next year. Like, this is real, what we're talking about, what's going on around the state. And for context, they have 88 schools. So they're closing 29 of them and reconsolidating others, and they just sent out and laid off over 400 people. You're seeing that around other large districts where, in Columbus and Cincinnati, where they're looking at trying to cut almost $50 million in some of these spaces. But when we talk about here, I don't want us to just be stuck on numbers. I want us to understand that that's not a headline here. It's not a statistic here. These are real people. Sometimes it's very easy to look at those numbers and say we need to get to these numbers, but behind every number is a person. Behind every number is a story. Behind every number is a child. So I want us to understand that piece when we get to having to have these tough conversations. We cannot just have tough conversations without looking internally as well. Because we can't control the funding that comes from the state. We can't control the things that come from government. We can't control a lot of things, but what we can control is how we treat each other during these times. We can control how we treat people and making sure that any tough conversations, any tough decisions happen with the intent to treat people with dignity and respect. And I want us to really keep that in mind as we go through these things, is that at the end of the day, I know we'll get through things, but we have to get through it together, and the only way we get through it together is to understand that we're all in this fight. And so that is why I want us to understand that piece of we're more than just a cut. We're more than just a funding stream. We're more than just a line item on a budget. These are real people. These are real situations. These are real fears that people have, and I want the people on the board with me, our leadership, to really look at these things and find ways that we can get to the goals that we need to reach and do it in the best way possible to, one, make sure that we do not slack off on the education that we need to provide for our children. Because our children they aren't innocent in all of these things. You know, people make decisions, and like Dr. Goodwine said, public education is not cared about. If we're going to be frank, it's not cared about to a lot of people, but we have to care about these young children because they've gone through life already, and they're these formative years. They cannot keep seeing not only the people who are up here not care about them, but their peers and their neighbors and the people that work with their parents and the people that are around them treat them and cast them off either. And so we have to make sure that, for one, we do everything we can to make sure that we provide high-quality education. We have to do everything that we can to be professional, to treat people with dignity and respect, and make sure that as we go through, we're doing that. Even in these tough times, we have to put our children first. And so I pledge to do that. And I just appreciate everybody for what they've done. And I just want us to know that we will get through all of these things, but we can only get through it if we do it together. Appreciate you, Mr. President.
All right, thank you. Mr. Walker.
Oh. All right, so for me, my colleagues, and thank you, Ms. Guerin. So last month, I was actually feeling ill, so I didn't get to talk about it. But I did make sure that the entire board and our direct reports did get a copy of the Council of Great City Schools and the information that we had covered. DC had a tornado warning at the time, so we had meetings scheduled with our congressional representatives, but we did not get to do those. However, we have our fall legislative breakfast already scheduled and already have confirmations for those individuals. What's happening in Washington is unheard of in today's world of education and today's world of politics all the way around. So just brought back information for you all to review on that. This past weekend, attended NSBA. I'll make sure I will not be here next week, so you won't have to hear my questions, but the following month, I'll be back. And I will say, I'm excited. You know, Dr. Goodwine and I decided to do a change this year, so I will be speaking at Thurgood Marshall's graduation this year.
My kid graduated.
So, you know, it'll be different. And then a question really, like we have, the Senate is in session for committees. So this week they have a bill. Chief Wright or Mr. Rayford, I'm curious, do buildings currently have an exterior master key? They do? Okay, look at that. All right. So I know that's a bill that's pending and has a fourth hearing tomorrow that may come out for a vote. And lastly, for me, you know, man, I'm sad. The wallaby that was loose the other week passed away an hour ago. Like, I was keeping up. Like, I was, yeah. Like, so, yeah.
A little freedom for a little bit.
He got a little freedom. He done passed away. Like, I'm sad. But thank you all for all the work that you do and continue to do to provide for Dayton Public Schools family and students. Congratulations again to Meadowdale High School. And yeah, that's all my comments.
All right, thank you. Mr. Lacy.
Thank you. Yesterday I attended the district's finance committee meeting, and today I attended the post-audit meeting. In both cases, we see reports in good order. But as Dr. Goodwine alluded to, that they did indicate some challenges in the future. And those challenges for this district can be especially tough because, I mean, unlike a lot of other city districts who are still declining, we are not. We're actually increasing in the number of students. So yeah, we do need to consider the students that we're serving. So those will be on our minds as we move forward. Thank you.
All right. Dr. Jones, since you're still here.
Thank you, Board President. I want to give a huge shout out to our grounds crew and IT. And so it's testing season, of course, and so we want to thank Chief Spurlock for communicating to us the need to make sure that the environment is conducive to testing. And so during those hours of testing, there is no grass being cut. So that's a good thing. And we also wanted to thank IT as well. IT has figured out how to create a situation where 3 different programs actually interface and speak with each other, and so that the issues with OEC and transportation, I believe we have a solution. So. Thank you.
I know your daughter just won what?
Oh, my daughter, yes. I don't think I shared this with you. She won the Adidas National Indoor 60-meter hurdle event. Yeah. She was, I believe, the only freshman to run a sub-9 second. Now, she had run an 8.7 like she did at the state meet. She would have broken the national record for freshmen. But she missed it by a 10th. She had a bad start. She won't do it again.
No excuses.
What school?
It wasn't incompetence.
I was asking what
Oh,
school.
okay. For indoor, she ran for Meadowdale, but she attends DECA.
Nice, okay.
Nice if she just came on over to Meadowdale.
You know what we talking about?
We on the way up.
We'll talk.
Sonnet has a great track team.
And tell us, we said happy birthday. I know you're going to have to leave.
Yeah, and it's my daughter's birthday today, so I'll be cutting out early. She turns 15, and so Daddy is either going to cook or we're going to go out to get
You mentioned
Steak.
chicken?
No, steak.
Oh,
Steak
okay.
time. She's a
We'll be
steak
over
head.
Mr. Lacy, what size steak was?
It will not be a 6 ounce.
All right, let's go back to
Yeah, I got forgotten about. But today at the Student Senate meeting, we spoke with Zakia Robinson. It really wasn't. We spoke with Zakia Robinson at Miami Valley, Maine. She spoke to us about her life journey, challenges, and how we as students shouldn't be scared to grow, but we should be confident in growing. Friday, April 9th, a couple Pathways proponents attended Tech Prep at Sinclair, where multiple groups won first place and runner-up, along with my team, Ally Health's group First Breath, First Fight, winning Best Showcase. And then last but not least, I know people are confused with my after high school plans, but I plan to attend The Ohio State University, majoring in pre-nursing with a minor in public health. That's all. Thank you. Oh, I'm going to state Friday for the Martin Luther King Oratorical Contest.
All right. We got one more month with you. Ms. Hamilton?
Good afternoon, board members. I just wanted to give a quick a shout out to some of the people that have been really moving forward with helping our team close out recommendations as far as past projects, because after a project we usually meet with department heads and leadership, and one of the things that I'm really grateful for is that we've been able to coordinate especially close with recently our associates and the primary board or direct reports, their designees specifically. And so I want to give a quick shout out to Ms. Miner, Dr. B, as well as Mr. Riley, because we've been coordinating every couple of weeks for different meetings to make sure that things are wrapping up for projects. So I just want to give that shout out. And then I also wanted to say that I'm really excited. We've had a couple of projects being kicked off over the last couple of weeks since I last gave an update. And so our next couple of projects that we're going to be moving forward on includes the EMS data integrity audit, as well as the payroll audit and then the inventory audit. So I'm excited for those, for the field work and some of the work that will be done through those projects, and excited to collaborate. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Braha?
Today, we had a post-audit, our state auditors, and we got a clean audit. I would like to thank my treasury team, the board, the superintendent, and the whole district for collaboration with us. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Dr. Lauren?
For me, Mr. Reiner, Dr. Goodwine, I'm reading Systems Thinking, Moving from Blame to Accountability. And then all of us on the core academic team are reading Systems Thinking for Beginners as we get ready for the summer. I want to thank Rachel Gannon, one of our parents. She sent a wonderful email, and she wants to thank Miss Eli at Ruskin, Miss Newman at Ruskin, Miss Wynn in enrollment, Miss Thompson in OEC, Miss Hyatt and Miss Blaine at River's Edge, and Miss Dewberry at River's Edge. She just had a lot of really great things to say about the district. So thank you, Rachel Gannon, owner of Local Roots Realty and broker. I want to say to Dr. Bailey, Mount Olive, Reverend Dr. Carlton Williams, he may be able to take you out. I know you are a really great singer, but he is spectacular, so I'd love to see the battle.
He can't do nothing.
Can't do nothing with you. And then the Trailblazers Awards, they were amazing. A special shout out to Miss Neal. Nothing but love for you. You've been there since the beginning of my teaching career. And Victoria and I, you shaking your head, you just can't do anything but love her. She's like a safety blanket, so a special shout out to her. And then Lisa G. Minor, I mean, it was amazing to see you get that award. Dr. Goodwine called me on July 9th, late, about 3 years ago, and said, are you ready, Mr. Interim Superintendent? And I thought to myself, no. But I called you the next day, and the rest is history. Could not do this work without you, so thank you. And then Ms. Reiner, Eyeglasses, Jordan Harris has noted that we are a part of that grant and participate. So thank you so much.
He already had his turn, but he asked me for another one.
No, we don't do
It's gonna
seconds.
be short. 10 seconds. I
10
no, I
seconds.
didn't.
I'm counting.
I only thought because of Dr. Lawrence mentioning the Trailblazer Awards. Hold on, because I don't want to be scared. I do want to think of the fact that we should honor people when we get a chance, because one of the people who won a Trailblazer Award was my family's first pastor, Pastor Levon Mann, who then passed away just a few days later. So I would be remiss if I didn't send out something for his church family, my church family, all the people that care about him. But it really did hit home for me when we talk about making sure that we respect people and give them their flowers and let them know what we think about them while we're here, because we never know what tomorrow holds. So with that, just want to say I love all of my folk, and just keep lifting up each other and understand that when we say hi and bye, we don't know if it's the last time we're going to be able to say it. So thank you for giving me that, Mr. President.
You're welcome, sir. I was going to mention Levon Man today, sir. He's a pillar in this community, a gentle giant, a great guy, a great mentor to probably all the pastors in the community, especially on the west side. So I send condolences to his family. I do want to say I'm thankful for the committees that we do have. Everybody's been putting in some really hard work. This year, I've been able to actually attend a lot of my committees this year, so I'm thankful for that. I'm also giving shout outs to those staff members, I'm not going to mention everybody's names, who went back to school, getting ready to graduate. That's one of them back there. He's looking around like he'd be in security right now. But I think it's great when people go back and get their degrees and further their education. So kudos to you guys. And just thanks for everyone coming out tonight. I know you guys have long days. Anything else that I needed to say, they've already said. So pursuant to section 121.22G2 of the Ohio Revised Code, I move that this board go into executive session. This meeting is being held to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, and/or compensation of a public employee.
Second.
Call for vote.
President Bailey,
Yes.
Dr. Goodwin,
Yes.
Mr. Lacy.
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Reinhardt,
Yes.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Ms. Garrison,
Yes.
Ms. Woods.
Yes.
7 yeses.
I go?
You can wait.
I'd be so happy to do that.
Let's see a man about the